All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. You know, a lot of people are enjoying, I don't know if you want to call it a series. I don't know what you want to call it, but a lot of people are enjoying the latest videos I've been putting out, to bring clarity to what we believe. Let me say this to try to stimulate thought, and I please want you to try to listen, because one thing that I'm definitely involved in is all of us thinking outside of the perimeters, the paradigm, the box that this society, or shall I say, this particular country, who has perfected social engineering, is to try to get us to think outside of that and to use our own rationale. If you've been listening to me for any length of time whatsoever at all, you know I use the term self-autonomy all the time. Independent thinking, independent discernment, you being able to think without the influence of the public food system and every other system that we've all been infected by. I can start something simple. For instance, how many things in life do we just simply do because that's the way it's always been done? I mean, think about that for a second. And because it has always been done that way, does that make it right? Is that true? Is it truthful? See, we have to actually stop, and we really truly need to start thinking about what we're doing, because if we do not think about what we are doing, somebody else has already thought for us. Let me give you an example, all right? It's obvious that the American society, or this country called America, how do you say this? Let me make it simple. It's obvious that this country, in order for you to function in it, they have you believing that you have to have certification and validation in order to function. And if some way, somehow, if you do not have their certification and their validation, it has been ingrained in our minds that you are not so-called quote-unquote qualified. Now you think about that for a second. Most of us, we can't think farther than that, but I'm gonna help you here for a second. For instance, the only reason why that you would even go out or even attempt to get certification or validation for something that you can already produce and do for yourself is because you want to participate in the heavy taxation without representation in this country. In other words, there's something in your conscience that tell you you need to do this, because if you don't do this, then you are somehow, some way morally wrong. Now, my thought is this. For instance, I just did a video, myself and Brother Shane, I'm building custom cabinets. Why should I have to actually go out, listen to me very closely, get a piece of land somewhere close to the city, buy the land, build a shop, and then go down to your local DMV or wherever it is that you get a so-called, a license to do business? Think about that. Because by the time you get finished paying all these taxes or all these absorbent fees, they're telling you that you need this in order to function lawfully. Now, first of all, you need to really truly think and comprehend what is lawfully. I mean, because I'm not going to go into the Black's Law Dictionary and explain to you what that is. What I am going to do is try to speak words, simple phrases and sentences that's easy to understand so you can comprehend what I'm saying. Would people be more inclined because of their social engineering, because of the way they have been trained and not educated to function in this world? Would they not be more inclined when they see, your little tax business license up on the wall, or some little certification in the window, or some BBC or BBB or Better Business Bureau thing? Would they not be more inclined to actually come and do business with you? Sure they would. You know why? Because they have been trained after the same system that you have. But let's just suppose this. Let's just suppose that you have your own home and you turn your garage into a cabinet shop. You find you a wholesale resource to be able to buy lumber, because it's just simply not intelligent to buy lumber from Lowe's and Home Depot if you're going to actually go into doing stuff like that. Now, while you may it could save you a lot of dollars, or a lot of time, because time is money nowadays. It could save you a lot of time. But suppose you actually find a wholesale place, and of course, it's very hard to get wholesale places to sell you their product without a, watch this, quote unquote, business license, because why? They function after the same institution and the same rearing and the same training that the world did. But let's just say you found a place, or if you choose to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy the building material and then pass the cost on to your customers, and that way you can still make a profit for your labors. Let's just say you just turn your shop in your backyard to a cabinet place, and then all of a sudden you built some cabinets, ran an ad in the paper, and you had a couple of cabinets that you could actually have on display, or some pictures of cabinets that you have done to show that you can build these things. You know what you can do? You can actually profit from the fruit of your own labors without having the government's approval or validation. I mean, think about it. People in this world think that, you don't work because you don't go out here and give them your social security number in order for them to tax you. Amazing, isn't it? See the mindset. I mean, am I helping anybody out here? Am I helping anybody out here? I mean, I built an island in our kitchen, and I may even include a picture right here. I have to do some modifying this video and stuff in order to put this in. But I built an island in our kitchen. All right. Matter of fact, let me show you this island that I built in the kitchen. It has a granite top. And the thing is probably, I don't know, maybe 9 feet long and maybe 5 feet wide, something like that. But anyway, let me show you this picture, and I'll be right back. Yeah, I built that. And of course, when I build things, I usually try to have brethren, young men around to show them. Now, whether they retain it or not, I don't know. It's up to them, But, I built it. So why should I go out here, get a piece of land and a business license in order to do business, and then get taxed because I'm in business? Sure, would I have a tax exempt status? Yeah, I have a tax exempt status, providing if I go get a business license and a 501c3 corporation to do business. But then the taxes that I actually charge on that particular product, I have to get it from the customer. How about this? How about if I just go ahead and make the island in my own cabinet shop on my own land, and you can pick and choose if you want to buy it or not. And what I can do is, rather than jacking up the price so much in order for me to be able to make a decent living because of the exorbitant amount of taxes that I've already had to shell out, how about I make it at a reasonable price So where it could be a lucrative deal for both you and I, and the government is out of our pockets. And you get savings, I get paid. And we both are happy. And we actually get it at a fraction of the cost than if you went out here to Lowe's or Home Depot and bought some of their custom cabinets, or these cabinet shops out here. But do y'all see what I'm saying? You see, everything in life, we think that we have to have their validation to do things. Marriage, for instance, all right? Who told you that you have to go get a marriage license? You know that's the worst thing you can do in the world, is actually get a marriage license. Now, I will tell you this. Marriage license is a benefit for the woman, but somehow the woman thinks that she has security if she gets a piece of paper from the government. In other words, that's going to keep you straight. But do you know how the rich people marry? The rich people married by actually getting what you call a prenuptial agreement. In other words, they sit down and they draw out and they write up a contract. And they also have inside that contract that if certain things does not take place in our lives and we end up dissolving this contract, then this is the yield or the fair shake that both of us would end up retaining from this. That's how the rich operate. But see, all the peasants out here, all the just American citizens, you do things simply because it's the way that it has always been done. You mean to tell me that you can't just say, okay, woman, I love you, and I make an agreement with you, you make an agreement with me under y'all. Watch this now. And we're going to keep our word to each other until death do us part. That's just as much as married as if you went out and got permission from the state. You see, to get permission from the state, all you're going to do is involve a third party in your relationship to adjudicate matters, because you are too incompetent to be able to actually settle things on your own. And since the spirit of man is so unjust, we have to have some enforcer there to be able to enforce a law. Because, I mean, after all, if this thing gets dissolved and we start arguing, fussing, fighting, and spatting and spitting and carrying on at each other, you can only imagine what could possibly take place. Is that true? No, you know, men is so just unjust today. The woman is not going to yield because she's bitter. The man is not going to yield because they're bitter. One is going to try to, because they don't have any righteousness in them, to outmuscle another. And they're going to try to do everything they can to cause a lot of pain, a whole lot of pain for the other party, rather than settling this thing like sound, intelligent, rational individuals. And that's the only reason why that I can see that people want to go to some type of government institution. Well, I mean, that's just a risk that you take. But know this, when you go out and you receive their validation or a marriage license, first of all, you pay to participate in it. And you enter into a polygamous relationship whether you like it or not. That's why you or your husband cannot dissolve through divorce your marriage without the authority of the institution that you actually went to. Now, I mean, if you've been married 20, 30, 40 years, no, I'm not telling you to go out and dissolve your marriage license. For what? I mean, you've been married that long, chances are you're not producing no more children. You understand what I mean? But if you do decide to get married again, then I just gave you a wealth of knowledge here. Most people say, well, you know, what about Social Security stuff? How about you start investing, and the very money that they would have taken from you because of Social Security, because if you go out and participate in the system, they're going to take money. You're going to invest in it. You know, Social Security is one of the biggest rackets that there is. It's an all profit, and everything that the government do, mind you, they have already carefully thought these things through. They have think tanks. Americans, just regular old people, I don't care who you are, black, white, red, yellow, blue, purple, green, or brown. You just do things simply because that's just the way it's always been done. I don't function like that. No, I don't do that. But that's the way you function. That's the way you do things. But watch this now. All right? Social Security is an all profit, because think about this. The government figures that after you retire, you may live 10, at most 12. They don't expect for you to be able to collect from your Social Security too much longer. If you turn around and paid all this money into Social Security for 30, 40 years of your labor, do you think that you're going to get that? Or do you think your family is going to get everything you paid into that system after you die? Let's say, look at people. People today are dying left and right now. They retired 65. They get their pension, they get Social Security, and by 67 they dead. Well, where does that money go that you've invested all that time in Social Security? Where does it go? It goes in the government kitty, into the pot. And when you die, they keep it all. And you all that you work for, your family, you get nothing. I mean, a doctor, somebody can go out there and make, even a lawyer make $400,000, $500,000 a year. All right, watch this. But the max amount of benefits that they can actually draw from Social Security, I think at one time was what, $1,300. Period. Can you imagine the amount of money they have already paid into that, and they're not going to be able to see any of that at all? But guess what? You get to participate in the Social Security program. Boy, man, I tell you, I need to pinch myself somewhere and stuff. Am I living in a dream that is a literal nightmare? You see, America has gamed us. Remember I told you a long time ago, the government produces nothing. It takes. It's utterly amazing. But then when I get on here and start telling you how things really truly run, you've already got these people who have been genetically modified through foods, socially engineered. They've been to the public food system. And when I start shouting from the rooftop, what truth is, all of a sudden I'm a strange, fictional being that is insane. I'm a fanatic, I'm a cult, I'm a crackpot, I'm a kook. But I'm not the one that is reared you in fairy tales. I'm not the one that's celebrating some damn fat ass man that's getting ready to go so-called all across the earth in one night with a sled with a bunch of deer, and one of them has got a red nose on the front of him, and he's going to pull that thing, and Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm not the one. I am not the institution that has reared you in that. So how is it that today we have become to easily accept the lie? And Christmas has nothing to do with Jesus at all. It has something to do with merchandise. It has something to do with how much money you can spend. It has something to do with you just going chaotically insane, going down to Best Buy and fighting over a $5 toaster. That's what it has to do, huh? Or a $200 big screen TV. How many big screen TVs do you need? I mean, oh mercy. You see, it's animalistic, heathenistic nature. That's what it is. It's just sad the way we have been gamed and toyed with. And they have got you conditioned so bad that, all you Sunday goers, all you Easter participators, not even knowing that you're participating in ancient paganism, heathenism, you justify yourself because of your ignorance. After all, well, I know in my heart, yeah, sure, I do too, it's wicked. That's why you cannot do good. How can you do good when you have been trained to do wicked all your life? And then guess what? I become your enemy. So then you start, some of you get it, you go, man, this guy is telling the truth. Then you make the mistake and you go to your natural family and you say, hey, listen to this. Next thing you know, something fires off in them. That man's a cult leader. Why are you listening to him? What's wrong with him? And you're like, but you start thinking about what he's saying, he's telling the truth. You're going the wrong path, I'm telling you right now. And mind you, you're dealing with people. It's kind of like that movie, The Matrix. Huh? They love the blue pill. They love being deceived into this system. They love not thinking for themselves. They love being taken advantage of. They just love it. They'll even pay to be abused in this system. They'll pay for it. But as soon as you start telling people, hey, take a look at this and everything, and that's why so many, well, let me say so few people that actually really truly get it. if you really truly listen to me, you found out something for sure if you have done your investigation. The one thing you found out, if you listen to me, you have found out that the subject and topics and things that I speak to you on, I've told you the truth. It's just that the truth is it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's like one of those big, massive pills, and it is hard to choke you down, but I'm telling you, but if you don't, you stay in the condition that you're in, you have nobody to blame for what's happening in your life but yourself, and it's just a sad thing. That's why so few people can actually do the truth, acknowledge the truth, and live the truth. There's not going to be many. And so the first thing you need to do is you need to grasp intelligence for yourself, comprehend and understand what truth is for yourself. That's what you need to do. You start walking in it. Don't go out there and start telling everybody what you're going to do, what you're doing, because everybody's not going to be awakened. Their conscience is not going to be awakened like yours is. It's just simply not going to happen. The spirit of truth woke you up. They didn't wake them up, because you're getting ready to see how vicious people are in their disposition when you stop walking after the paradigm and the cosmos of this world. When you out of step with them, man, they finna really put it on you. They gonna put it on you. I hope I've said something to stimulate thought. I really truly do. I really truly have. I only tried to do my part to help you, to help all of us. But think about this. Do you really truly need government validation to do something that is already, by nature, it's already lawful and it's already right to do in the first place? Man. You just heard truth straightway. King coming.